everyone. Welcome to another episode of Independent Artists Unite song series. Super excited tonight from England, James from Everything Is Nothing. Welcome,
Hello.
James.
Thank you. Good to be here.
And we have some exciting, like automated camera work that's happening
Mm,
on James's
yeah,
iPad,
yeah,
which is a first, and I'm excited about it.
yeah. It's alive. It's not doing it now, obviously, but
Um, well, this is a fairly new project for you, right? Everything is nothing,
yeah,
just a year or a year and a half old.
yeah. Last year, I've done music in the past, but I decided to start a new band, sort of on my own.
Yeah,
I know it's like an artist, but I like to think as everything is nothing as a band because I'd like to go towards a sort of band situation. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah. So just like a year old. I think it was last March when I really started like working on something and then released something a month or so after.
And and before you were in bands like playing live around England and or were you just in like jamming with guys or
Yeah, just jam with guys. I had a few. I guess well, they're not. I don't know them anymore, so it feels weird calling them friends, but they were
okay,
friends once.
yeah.
Yeah, but we did stuff like that. I went to university and did some music stuff as well, so I had some experiences there too.
Oh, cool. Okay, all right, interesting. Yeah, because it was first of all, I really like what you're doing, and it makes sense to me that there's a musical education behind it because it's not like, oh, there goes the camera work.
Oh yeah, hello. It's definitely not me. Look, my
Was it
hands.
something I said?
I was shocked.
Something I said made you pan back. It's like that. It's the shot in Jaws where he sees
Yes.
Jaws. I forget what that shot's called, some special dolly shot.
Mm.
um, but yeah, that's interesting because this kind of like you know, kind of a heavy more like heavy metal approach with like the vocal or what do you call it? You call it a combination of industrial and was it black
Metal,
metal
yeah.
or
Yeah, metal, just
just
metal,
metal?
I would
Okay,
say.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So I suppose it's more of like this um, metal approach when you hear heavy guitars like that and some aspects of your vocals
Hmm.
um, that you tend to like you know draw a complete I suppose like you kind of extrapolate on what you think the whole character of the music is going to be like,
Mm. Yeah.
based on things you've heard and things like that. And so, and there's
Yeah.
quite a lot of surprises in your music, which I think is super
Good.
cool. And now it makes sense that there's this musical um, education behind it because there's like some like sophisticated things happening in there, like first of all, there's a huge dynamic range. I mean,
Mm.
everything from like of just like a bone chilling like yell from the soul to like a whisper,
Hmm.
vocally, and then musically everything from like the hardest, chunkiest metal guitar to like really playful kind of synth sounds or ARP,
Yeah.
or something like that. So I found that really interesting, and you do that range all within, especially this one song, which we're going to talk
Yeah,
about,
yeah. I really went
Doom
for it with this
Machine, the
song.
first, the A side
Mm.
one. Yeah. Um, yeah, so I think that's really cool. And that makes sense that there's like this musical education about because you're fitting a lot into one song, right?
Yeah, I know. I was for a while I'm thinking, do I have two songs in one here? So I was back and forth for the intro and the
Mm,
outro, like leaving them out, but I was like, I really like the vocals there. So I was like, I'm just gonna just do it. So just went for it.
yeah. And it's I like it too because you kind of introduce these elements where it starts with really more of a synth riff, right?
I'm a very big synth guy. I
Yeah,
love
yeah.
synth.
And then the guitars come in and the kind of screaming vocals. Um, but then like I said, these other elements come in as the song goes on, and then the outro is really, it's
Mm.
almost like it settles into like a pop chorus, at the end there, which is with these elements all combined, which I found like I was like found so gratifying because I think it's like if I always feel like if you really want to reach people, sneak different elements into this, kind of pop format that they can understand
Mm.
or that they can take in.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
There's an interesting way of thinking about it. Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I thought about that when I and I'm sorry if you find this offensive, but because the vocal at times reminded me of Marilyn Manson, right?
Hmm.
When I
I've
first
heard that before. Yeah.
heard, the first thing I heard of his was Antichrist Superstar. I heard that album, and was legitimately terrified when I heard it, and I felt like I was into heavy music. But
Hmm.
when I heard that album, I was like, I found that scary, and but it was kind of like because he rapping it in a kind of a pop song, which was like a very catchy, like the beautiful people, you know what I mean? That was
Yes.
the
Yeah.
ship that he sailed in on and brought all this other crazy stuff with him. And then you're
Hmm.
like, oh wow, we're doing this now in popular culture. We're
We're in it.
doing heavy guitars. We're doing all this,
Yeah.
and I felt like that was his best record because, of course, because you got Trent Reznor behind the scenes and all that, and he's bringing a lot of the things in there that that Marilyn Manson didn't have before,
Mm.
certainly. And so I was like, thought that was really cool, hearing some of those elements in what you're doing.
Yeah,
Um,
I'm quite influenced by Trent Reznor, to be honest.
yeah,
Yeah,
well,
the
he's
Downward
amazing.
Spiral and Broken, they're like my go-to places when I need inspiration, to be honest.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. I mean, he's amazing. He's amazing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he is.
but it's cool. I mean, but it's I mean, even though there's all these elements, it's very fresh. You know what I mean? I mean, I mean, part of it was like the best parts that I liked of Marilyn Manson was when you're a little worried that things are going to careen out of control, and you have that element in Doom
Oh,
Machine
good, good.
Part One where yeah I'm listening like, oh shit, where's this thing going and is this careening out of control, but then it like goes back down and has these electronic elements and kind of
Mm.
reassures you, hey, don't be too frightened, people, and then okay, I'm going to end with this pop chorus that yeah I think is pretty ingenious actually.
Cool. Thanks.
I'm really I really enjoy it, and I look forward to hearing what you'll do from here and how the project
Mm.
will evolve. Um, but let's talk specifically about Doom Machine A side, uh, the first that you call Doom Machine One, right?
Yes, yeah.
Um, like how does something like this come out of you? Like, does it start with a lyrical idea? Do you start on the guitar? I mean, how did this one start?
Well, this has been around for a while as well. It's had a few versions of it. And another song actually came out of this song,
Okay.
which I haven't released yet. But yeah, so I think it's about maybe 6 years old.
Mm,
And how I used to make music then was I would just start with a drum loop and
mm,
I would just find a loop that I like and I'd throw in some synth stuff and like, okay, this is quite cool. And at that time, I had a guitarist. So I brought him in. I was like, right, we need some guitars on here. So we'd work together and put these guitars on it. And then when it felt right, I would just sort of work on the rest of the song and then start doing the vocals, like sing the lyrics and stuff. And it's weird. Like sometimes I know how this will sound, but sometimes when I'm working on music, it feels like I'm sort of watching myself. Like I step back, like my
mm.
camera just did, and I
Yeah,
step
that
back.
was really weird. The camera worked with
Yeah,
you there.
yeah, and I'm not doing it. Yeah, it feels like I'm sort of stepping back and just watching myself work, which is strange. It's like I go into some sort of Zen state. It's the
Yeah,
best
I
way
know
I
what
could
you're talking about.
explain.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Yeah, I
So
mean, like,
you had all these, you knew that you wanted this song that was going to have all these different elements, and it
yes.
did all these different dynamic things. And you
Hmm.
had that first before you started working on lyrics?
Yes, apart from the intro I have now is actually wasn't there before. That was a whole new thing I put together because when I was sort of redoing this song for this project, I thought I wanted to add something new to it. And I loved how the song ended because how the song used to end was the same lyrics, but it was like more guitar-y and there was like other stuff going on. So I took that out. And when I was just messing around with beats and synths and stuff, I was like, I like this synth line. I like that. And then I tried to see if the lyrics would go with that. And the intro, I couldn't figure out how to sing it. So I did three versions. And when you listen, you can hear three different vocals because I just sort of bring them in and out. And I thought it kind of worked because of like the context of the song, because like sort of like struggling with yourself and trying to be something for somebody and the other whole codependent thing. So I
Mm,
thought it was interesting having like as if there are voices in your head, sort of
mm,
saying like talking to you and that sort of thing. So I
yeah,
thought it was
yeah,
nice
yeah,
to have that multi-vocal intro, if you will.
yeah, yeah. I think that's cool too because it's like, I mean, these are how thoughts really happen in your head. You know, it's never like,
Mm.
okay, shh, let me have this one.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very true.
nice once in a while if you had just one line of thought, but
Yeah. Yeah, I know that. Yeah.
yeah. So I thought that's actually a cool depiction of that.
Yeah. That's very true. Yeah.
Um, and then how do you decide to use like the different voices that you do? Is that all dictated by the emotion of the lyrical line itself, or by the or and is that originally dictated by what the music has there, or how does that work?
With this song, I wanted to because like let's say after the intro, there's like those three parts where the vocals are like distinctly changing. I
Mm,
wanted that to be like that because I wanted to show like different emotions. So it's like you've got the one at the start, which is like sort of a bit more assertive, and then the next one where it's a bit more screamy. So I like to think of it as more lost in the situation, and
mm,
then the third bit where it's I don't know how to describe it, like more a bit more relaxed. It's like
mm.
sort of the acceptance of what's going on,
Yeah.
if that makes sense.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
think it does.
Yeah, that's cool. So you got it's like the different vocal techniques are like they're portraying different like I guess different emotion,
Yeah,
different categories of emotion
yeah. The
or
different
mental
people in your
health
mind.
maybe.
Yeah, yeah. How angry am I right now?
Yeah. Um okay, so it started with a drum loop
Hmm.
and playing around with the guitars and stuff.
Yeah, the guitars came after the drum loops and synthy stuff.
Oh, that's it.
Like I
Okay,
made
so
some
that all
melody.
came first. Okay.
Yeah, I made some melodies with the synth, and I was like, maybe this should be guitar. So we should have worked through it like that,
Oh,
you know.
cool. Okay. Yeah. And do you find the vocal melody with the synth part too, and then take it out, or do you just start
Now
playing
that
it and vamping over it?
yeah, that when the guitars were there and like like the whole pan to the side, stereo width, and listen to the drums like right in the middle. That's when the sort of vocals just because I just sort of like loop an area and just stand in front of my microphone. I don't record well when I get a good idea, but I just sort of like just well, you know this. You just sort
Just
of
kind
go
of
into it, don't you?
experiment. Yeah.
Yeah, and just wait until something sounds good.
Yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
that's
I
cool.
have I have a notebook full of little words and like sentences, and I always refer to that. Like, look, sometimes when I look back, I go, "What the hell?" And delete. But sometimes there's good ideas in there, you know.
Yeah. And and are you recording right there, like in the room where you are right now?
Yeah, actually, behind me, you can see the microphone stand. I'm
Yeah.
gonna get some acoustic foam, and I figured out that I need like a vocal booth, but it was too expensive to go like with the whole thing. So I was just gonna put my two sort of drawers next to it, and then just put some foam around it, you know. But yeah, it's all done at home sort of
And
situation.
do you like write out notes to the neighbors? I'm going to be recording a
Thankfully,
vocal.
it thankfully I'm in a detached house, so
Oh,
otherwise
perfect.
I'd be screwed. I I would have to do that. You're going to hear screaming today. Don't worry. Don't call the police.
So are you kind of in the English countryside there? You said northeast. Is it northeast
Yeah,
England?
northeast of England. Yeah, yeah, sort of. Yeah, it's like it's the unknown part of England, I would describe it. Because you've got like Newcastle's above me, and then there's me, and then there's like Leeds is under me, sort of thing. It's a quiet place,
Yeah.
which is nice.
And have you always lived there? Like you did you grow up in that area as well?
I lived here till I was 4, and then I moved around to different countries. So I've been around.
Okay, okay.
Yeah, I
And
came back here when I was 20.
okay. And what like I'm just wondering, are hmm yeah, what were the I guess I want to know what angered you as a kid? Have you or is it
I was
just
nice as a kid.
you're not everyone says he was such a good boy. No, but I mean, are is this? I guess is what I'm saying is because you don't seem like an angry person, you know, right off the top.
Mm,
But of course, there's anger, that kind of. But or is this just the way for you to kind of exorcise
exactly.
your demons? Yeah.
Exactly, man. That's exactly it. Like you said, I'm quite chill. People that I know can't really connect me to my music. Like they know me and then they hear my music and like that doesn't seem right. That's not
What
you.
happened?
Yeah. But I bury everything, so my
Yeah.
music lets me release everything.
Well, that's healthy. That's healthy.
I think so.
Um. So but the plan is you want to get some players together and start playing around as a live band.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that'd be really cool. I think the like what this project is would be good live. I
Yeah.
feel like it has that vibe, like I'm a big fan of like Slipknot and obviously Nine Inch Nails and Deftones and like that band situation. Well,
Mm,
first of all, it'd be awesome, it'd be really
mm,
cool. But I think it would also make this project better, having a few more people in with their ideas. So yeah, I think it would just I can only see it as a positive thing, you
yeah.
know.
Yeah. And is there like a scene around like where you are where bands could play out and stuff like that, or you have to go into London and stuff like that? I don't know exactly
There's
how it is there.
there's a bit of a scene. The problem here is I don't do it anymore, but I used to submit my music to BBC Tees, which is like my area, sort of like local radio sort of thing.
Okay.
And when my music was played, obviously it's like what I do, the heavy stuff, and nobody else was like that. So it was sort of like all this acoustic music, which is fine. I'm cool with all sort of music, but it'd be like acoustic, and then ballads, and then some synth stuff, and then me like sort of ruining everything. So, but yeah, obviously there are people here doing metal stuff, but it's not really that big of a scene, like in my more local area,
Yeah.
which is unfortunate.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't send stuff to BBC Tees anymore.
Yeah. Oh man, that's funny. So they is because they feature uh artists by the region.
Yeah, yeah. So it's like everybody around here,
Yeah.
so like local to me, and I guess everybody's just more into soft music. That's the only way I
Okay.
can think of it, which is fine. I mean, I like some soft music too, but
Yeah.
it felt like I didn't belong, which is obviously
Yeah.
silly, I know, but it just didn't seem like a good mix. Because obviously the people listening want to listen to that sort of music.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
there's me like shouting and screaming at everybody.
Um. And what and I found out about you because it was Renee from Nocturne Xena, right? And
Hmm.
how did he find you? You know?
Um, I got in touch with him. Yeah, I saw somebody else I know
Okay.
post about that, and I was like, oh, cool. So I had a look at his Instagram page. I
Yeah.
thought, you know what? I'm just going to send some stuff, and he liked it because he's a cool guy. So
Yeah. I mean, he's the best. He's the sponsor of this show. So
mhm.
we help promote each other
That's
quite
cool.
a lot. And so if he because he tends to find people have these experiences with like people, artists like yourself, and so it's we're always excited, when one of us has a find, or something like that. So that's so cool that you reached out to him.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Um, and what kind of stuff do you do to like reach people or to promote your music? Do you have any strategies that you're?
Well, I'm an awful businessman, so but
Yeah, yeah.
I
I
think
mean,
I've been using
I am too. I am too. I'm just starting to learn.
it's
I'm
hard.
learning all this stuff, from
Hmm.
this guy James James K Ultra of Pain in the Ass that he's producing all my songs,
Cool.
and yeah, and meanwhile he's teaching me all about this new this new world because I'm also knew nothing about it.
Yeah, I mean, like I feel like TikTok. Sorry, I feel like Instagram has changed a lot because I remember using it like let's say 7 years ago, and I felt like you would get more back like when you make a post.
Mm,
But nowadays it's like nothing. But I've been using TikTok a lot,
yeah.
and it does feel a lot better. Like you get more plays, more interactions, which is what you're looking
Okay.
for. You
Oh,
know, so
cool.
I
All
feel
right, I'll
like
connect with you
it's
on TikTok too then, and
yeah,
post this
that's
on
cool.
TikTok. Yeah, because I not everyone is on TikTok, but yeah, I
Mm.
should. Yeah, when they are, I also post on there, but I don't always post the show on TikTok because yeah, I don't
But
know.
apparently the new thing to do is landscape and be over a minute long. That's the new thing that the algorithms like, apparently.
Okay, yeah.
I don't know how true that is, but that's what I've been seeing. See, it's something you got to
All
test
right.
out, right?
Yeah, well, maybe I'll try it in different ways then, because what I do is make a minute clip, like I'll make a minute clip from what we're doing here,
Hmm.
and then like ride Doom Machine A side underneath at like
Hmm.
level 5, so you
Yeah,
just
yeah.
kind of hear the song while we're
Hmm.
talking
Hmm.
to kind of grab people's attention, and then
Yeah, yeah.
have you tagged in the post so they say, oh, okay, it's cool what
Hmm.
he's talking about, and I kind of like the song. Boom, I'll follow him.
Hmm.
Hopefully that's
Yeah,
what
it's
happens.
a good way to do it.
Yeah, but it could be interesting to also do some of those longer form videos too, because I've also heard that's
Yes, yeah, that's a thing now and there.
important on TikTok. I've been doing this thing on TikTok lately because I'm really dumb about TikTok, but I just started thinking, what happens if I just follow everybody that come that gets
I did that on Twitter
suggested?
once.
I was like, well, the algorithm is sending me these people. They must, I could see by their names, a lot of them have to do with dark music, something, something, something.
Hmm.
So I just go,
Yeah.
all right, I'm going for it because I had like 235 followers and I was not getting any more. So I started following everyone. Now I've been doing that for 2 weeks and I'm closing in on 2,000 followers
All
now.
right.
But I'm following like 3,800,
Yeah.
but I don't, who cares? I don't,
You got to do something, right? I
yeah,
mean,
yeah,
that's
yeah.
the thing. Like this whole like, oh, I won't follow anybody thing. It's just it's dumb, really. Unless you're huge,
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
then yeah, which
yeah,
makes
yeah.
sense. But yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
it's interesting. Yeah, it's interesting. Oh well, yeah.
Mm.
Um, so what do you have coming up next? Do you have songs all kind of in the queue ready to go or
I do indeed. I have a secret board to my left that has everything written down that I'm working on right now.
okay.
Like a whiteboard, yeah. I'm not going to show. It's
Are you
great
gonna
for keeping notes on.
yeah, but are you gonna keep releasing like singles or two song
Yeah, yeah.
EPs
I
or
don't want to do an album because I'd like to have a debut studio album. You know what I mean? Like
hmm,
I like the album to, like it would be nice to get signed or be part of some sort of group that like promotes music
hmm,
together. You know what I mean? Like just be
hmm,
part of some sort of collective. So I'd like to sort of save the album for that. But I haven't decided if I would use all the songs I've been releasing and put them together as an album or just go away for a while and work on something like
yeah,
new. You know what I
uh,
mean? Yeah, so for now, it's just going to be singles and EPs.
okay.
I think that's a good way because it keeps you active as well and you keep releasing stuff
Yeah, yeah,
instead of going quiet, which is the worst thing to do.
yeah, yeah. And so when do we get the next Everything Is Nothing?
I'm thinking late March, maybe April. I don't want to, it's good to have deadlines, but don't have crazy deadlines.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Okay. All right. Well, looking forward to that. And thanks for doing this, man. And
Oh,
also I apologize. I got sick, so I had to cancel on you, which I don't do
no worries.
very often. Um, but yeah, man, it was great to meet you. And yeah,
Yeah, likewise.
and
Thanks
once
for having me
again,
on.
you seem like such a peaceful, nice guy.
Well,
So
I'll
I
tell you
was
what.
I was it's so funny when you see people because also I was I don't know if you know do you know Darkways? This guy from
I don't think
Spain,
so.
Darkways. It's just you listen to his music and I just expected this like rail thin skeleton guy with this massive black hair and just like I mean I just this wild like surfer black metal person, you know.
Hmm.
I didn't, it was just like chains black and I was
Yeah,
and he's just like, you know, he's a dad, you know, in Spain.
yeah. Just a dude.
And it's so it's so interesting. So I was not expecting you know a kind of a gentle, clean cut gentleman like yourself.
I know I shaved today as well.
Oh, okay. So yeah, so that's really interesting. But yeah, man, I really enjoy your stuff, and I look forward
Thank you.
to what's coming next. And I hope you'll do the show again when in March when the new stuff comes out.
Of course.
All right,
Yeah.
man. Thanks again.
No worries.
See you.
See ya.